AJ Woodson, Black Westchester. We're here with Jamar Smythe, wrongfully convicted of 15 years, served 40 years. The case was vacated last week and he's home and he gave us an exclusive interview and we're going to chat it up with him right now. Good to meet you.
How you doing?
All right. So let me know how you felt when you heard that judge say you was going home.
I was somewhat relieved. I was just happy to be going home to my family. But at the same time, the possibility of them retrying me still, weighs heavy on me. So I know there's still a fight to be fought, but I'm relieved that I'm home and I'm with my family and I'm out of the situation I was in. So I was happy, relieved just to be able to hug my wife, go see my kids, spend some time with my grandfather. So I was very relieved.
What was one of the things, I know you must have been like, yo, if I get home, I'm going to do this. What was one of the things you said you had to do when you got home?
The first thing I thought about doing was spending time with my grandfather.
Okay.
Because he's up in age.
Okay.
And when I got sentenced to the 15 years, I was worried that I would never get a chance to hug him and, spend some time with him. And I just wanted to come home and watch some of the basketball games, baseball games, and football games with him, which I was doing before I left. So, just to feel like I might not ever watch a ball game with my grandpops again was one of the things I was thinking about while I was doing my time.
Now we're going to go back, when you heard the judge say, basically you got the time and you about to go in, what's going through your mind?
I was devastated. When they gave me the time, I was devastated. When I got the guilty verdict, I was devastated because sitting through the trial, you know what happened. So, when you sit up there and you hear lies and inconsistency in testimony, you feel like things are going your way. So when the guilty verdict came down, it was hard to swallow. And then at sentencing, it was hard too because they was trying to give me 30 years. The DA was asking for 30 years, but the judge went with 15, which I was grateful for, even though I didn't do nothing. I was just happy it wasn't the 30 they was trying to give me. But all the while I just knew I just had to stay in and it was going to be a fight and I was going to fight until the end result was what it is now.
Now that's crazy because you're not the first person I heard say that. They were going to give you 30 years. You was actually happy when you heard 15 years. But you're innocent, you should have no years. But you was kind of happy to hear 15 years. That's kind of crazy, right?
Because there's a lot of people who go through this and don't get their, don't get their justice, don't get their relief that they're looking for. It's a lot of innocent people who probably finish out their sentence and, if in fact I would have had to finish out the sentence, I would have rather been shorter than long time. So that's the only reason why I could say I was happy that it was 15 instead of the 30, but I wasn't happy to spend a day incarcerated at all.
Now, while you in there, I know it's hard to keep positive. What kept you going? What was going through your mind? Knowing that you were innocent, but there's a possibility you ain't getting out of here. You know what I'm saying? No time soon.
It was my family. It was my kids. It was my mother. It was my grandfather. All of them who supported me and watched me change my life after I was incarcerated for the 6 years for my prior. That's what drove me. My kids, missing so much time out of my kids' life was rough because I'm a guy who grew up without a father at all. I don't know who my father is. I don't know what my father looked like. So being a father was big to me, and getting back in my daughter's life was an inspiration. So when I came home from doing my last bid, getting back in my daughter's life was what drove me, and to leave her again, for something I didn't do after I changed my life was what drove me. I knew I had to get back home to her. I didn't want to miss another 12 years, 15 years, in her life after I was absent for a little while.
Now, a lot of times the mainstream, the media, they get on, the facts, but they don't see you as human. You know what I'm saying? When the human talk about you were getting your life together, you was working, what was you doing? You know, talk.
Yeah. Upon my release from my last bid, you know, I obtained 2 jobs within a month. Within maybe a month and a half, you know, I obtained a job at construction, doing construction, making about $38.20 an hour. And I also worked at a gym, New York Sports Club, as a housekeeper, you know, on Saturday and Sunday. So basically I was working 7 days a week, no days off. You know, I was dedicated. I didn't have no transportation. I had to jump on the train, you know, subway, however I had to do it. I was determined to do it. I was determined not to ever see a prison again, and that's what drove me. I didn't have no problem getting on the train, subways to get where I had to go, put in my 8 hours of work, hard labor, and do what I gotta do. And even, you know, it kept me out of trouble. It kept me busy, it kept me out of trouble, it kept me family orientated. I didn't have time to play around and do things I wasn't supposed to do.
Right. So you see, a lot of people don't get to see that side. Then you hear maybe you had a pass, or maybe you did do it. You didn't have no reason to be doing the things they said you doing. You didn't need it money wise. You was
No, money wise, I was pretty good. I was financially pretty good, better than I ever was in my life.
Show the check.
You know.
The check.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said you just got your last pay stub.
Yeah, my last pay stub is right here. You know, 40 hours, 1528.
Hold it up.
1528, 1050 after taxes, and this was weekly, and this is a union job. I'm working for local 731. This was construction. I wasn't making much on in the gym, New York Sports Club, but I was the dude that liked to work out, so I enjoyed it. Even though I was making $8 an hour, and I was only working in 2 days, I enjoyed the work. And I enjoyed working out, so the setting was nice for me, and it kept me busy, and that's all I was focused on, was working hard and providing for my kids and my family, and just, you know, making all my mother, my grandpops, my loved ones proud. You know, after I shamed them in the past.
Well, two things I want to say. One, I want to talk to a lot of young cats. You know, you made a mistake, but you came out. You know what I'm saying? You got yourself together. You know, any words of advice to other brothers? That's, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if you apply yourself, it'll work out for you. I mean, I came home. I was a felon. You know, I filled out. The first 2 weeks I was home, I filled out over 200 applications, just seeking employment to do anything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Unfortunately, I had a good friend of mine who was in the construction business, and he pulled me along with him, and I took full advantage of it. You know, so when you get your opportunities, you got to make the best of them.
Right, right.
And I did that, and from there, it just everything was positive from there until that day.
And again, a lot of times they don't show our brothers as, what I'm hearing, family oriented. You know what I'm saying? Father handle his business, take care of his kids, take care of his family. You know what I'm saying? Hardworking man. That's not usually the descriptions they give a lot of us brothers. You know what I'm saying? Especially the brothers that have some time. So we definitely want to show that part of you.
Absolutely.
Now, is there anything I didn't ask you want people to know?
Talk about the sentence of the cops.
Oh, you see, yeah, that's right. So after you do the 4 years out of 15, Tuesday you get released. You hear you get released a couple of days later. One of the officers is one of 2 officers who gets convicted of perjury. I guess they played or whatever, and you hear he gets 8 weeks of weekends. What's going through your mind?
I mean, it's a shame, you know. On one hand, I'm happy that he's no longer an officer, and
Actually, is he still? He hasn't lost his job yet.
no, he resigned.
Oh, he resigned finally.
Yeah, he
Keep it
resigned
Okay.
after he pleaded guilty,
Oh,
he
okay.
resigned. So
Okay.
he's no longer officer, which I'm happy about. As far as the time goes, I mean, it don't add up. You get on the stand and say whatever you want to say, and the consequences don't match what you're giving other individuals who's being wrongfully convicted
Right.
on their testimony. They get on the stand, and if we get on the stand, we're gonna get prosecuted to the fullest extent.
Right.
And
And it wasn't just you. Like, you did some time that you shouldn't have did. Another brother went through the window, said committed suicide, and 20 other cases just got vacated. They're not even gonna see court right now. Like, you know, and that's what he got 8 weeks. That means from Monday through Friday, this gentleman is out and about, and then Friday he goes in at night, comes out Sunday night or Monday morning. You know what I'm saying? And goes about like, but you just did 4 years without seeing your children, without being with your wife. You know what I'm saying? You said your grandfather, you know, if you was gonna see him, you know, because he's up in age. Yeah, that's got to be kind of crazy.
it's definitely crazy. It's like they give these officers the license to say what they want to say without the repercussions, but we're held, you know,
To a higher standard.
to a higher standard, and you know, it's just doesn't add up. You know, they want to give you all the time in the world, but they should be held to a higher standard because their job is to uphold the law.
Right. Right.
So, you know, it should be stiffer penalties for them when they disobey the law or they break the law, which they're supposed to enforce and uphold. So, you know.
Now, how you tell these younger brothers, like speak to young brothers, they just gave up on the system? Like, they see your situation, you was doing good, and then you got in that situation. How do you tell people how do you not give up on the system?
It's tough, man, because, you know, it's tough. The system is made for us to fail. They got so many ways to get around their wrongdoings. It's hard to believe in the system. But I'm just thankful that, you know, in my case it worked out for me. But you just can't give up. You just got to fight as much as you could and, you know, learn as much as you could about the law, which I did. I just spent nights and nights on nights just researching and figuring out, you know, the law and what could work for me and what can, and always just playing a devil's advocate with myself, saying, how are they going to react to this if I bring this to the table? So you got to always understand, you got to try to see things from their point of view too, which they get around a lot of stuff that they do wrong based on some of the laws and the way the law is structured. So the system is flawed, but you know, if it's something that you can never give up. If you get in a situation where you're wrongfully convicted or wrongly accused of committing a crime, just stay true to what you feel. You know, that's what I did. I stayed true to knowing I didn't commit this crime, knowing that they lied about everything they said happened. So, you know, I was determined for, you know, this to be the outcome, for me to expose the fact that I was lied on, and, you know, because it's just so hard to sit there and watch officers who you're supposed to protect the community to sit on the stand and lie about what happened and try to create probable cause by saying something is in plain view or they made a traffic stop, which you know never was the case.
Right.
And you never see no traffic, in fact, you know, traffic ticket until, you know, you're sitting at your suppression hearing, and you know, it's just crazy. Like, you know, you see a police report that doesn't depict what really took place. It's rough. It's discouraging because you like they're gonna get away with this stuff because you know people's just gonna believe them because they're officers.
Yeah.
You know, so it's hard.
Now, like I was saying, is there anything I didn't ask you, any last words? Anybody you want to thank? Like, I wouldn't have got through it without this. Anything you want to?
No, I just want to thank all my family members who show support, and especially, you know, my mother, my wife, you know, my kids' mothers. You know, everybody who just showed support, my lawyers, you know, who was on board, who believed in me, who believed that, you know, I did not commit this crime. And that's really it.
No, I'm happy to see you home, brother, and I'm
Thank
glad
you
to
so
tell
much.
your story. I'm glad you chose us to tell your story. And like I said, I hope everything works. And you know, we're gonna follow this through. We're gonna follow this case to its completion. You know what I'm saying?
All right, thank you very much.
It's
Thanks
AJ
for
Woodson,
that.
Black Westchester, on the scene with my man Jamar Smythe.